Good morning and welcome back, guys, to this little mini Friday we have here, the last trading day before Thanksgiving. Tomorrow the markets are closed, and then Friday is a half day. Most likely Friday I'll be taking off. And knowing that today was going to be that last day, I was expecting good action pre-market, and then at the market open, and then definitely late day, a lot of falling volume, because I think a lot of people want to be taking off early and getting ready for the holidays, just like myself. So when I was up pre-market, for the fifth time after having a little bit of a rocky start, I just went ahead, took my profits, and then called it. So in my day trading account here, we're up $794. Kind of a small little green day, but for my smaller size, it's actually pretty okay. But just nice little consistent green snag, and I'm pretty happy. Now I do really want to focus this video on KTTA today, which it looks like I'm up a lot, but there's a lot more to this story I'll talk about a little bit later. And then really quickly with my swing trades, I did want to point out Clove, LMND, SBEA, and SPCE, 4 new swing trades that we've been entering, are all bouncing a little bit today. I'll probably be looking to add a little bit more size into each one of these, but they're all getting close to their, around $10,000 ideal size. And then Oatly, very small size here as well. But this is just one covered call contract that I was kind of playing around with. So what I really want to be focusing on today is our day trading account, and then KTTA. We'll start with this one because this was an absolute disaster and just crazy trade. And then we'll talk about the other tickers I went ahead and traded. So let's go to KTTA first. And wow, there's a lot to talk about in this one. And if you guys have been following a few of my videos, I've been following a lot of stocks lately for really good swing trades and continuations, from LGVN to SPCE, which I was calling the next LGVN, and then we had KTTA pop up, and all these tickers had great second day and third day continuation. Now KTTA was a little bit of a suspicious one for me, specifically because KTTA was a biotech, and I usually don't look for secondaries and thirds on biotechs. I'm a little bit more nervous with biotechs overall. I feel like when those tickers spike, biotechs bleed cash in general, and they want to be taking advantage of big stock price jumps, and they'll probably be diluting, which basically means secondary offerings. And that's exactly what we have with KTTA. So let me actually go to this one on the 5. Actually, we'll start on the daily. And this one was when we were trading quite a bit yesterday. We were up pretty nicely, over 10% based on our average position size on KTTA yesterday. And knowing that we've been having a lot of good second day movers, I went ahead and started accumulating KTTA, looking for that continuation. And lately we've been having really good continuation off major support zones. So that's what I was looking for on this one. And this is where I started accumulating it here near this big support around 6.2. Originally I had my limit order right here at 6.2. And then it never got here. I think I missed my limit order by just a few cents. Eventually popped up and I had a pullback, and then I started accumulating, looking for that midday or late power hour run, and then the run into extended hours. Unfortunately, literally after this spike and a little bit of a chase, which was not a smart move, it ends up flushing 30%. And now I'm holding overnight for ideally a pop back higher. Luckily, it was a fairly small position size. It was a decent chunk lower than my average size, so I didn't worry so much in this sell-off, and this was a swing trade, and I knew at best I would probably get a chance to cut losses in this area where it would have a support line retest, so former support becomes new resistance. Luckily, the play turned out exactly as I was expecting, to find support and pop back higher. Now, I really fumbled on this one because let me just talk about LGVN really quickly and ISPC. So LGVN, similar situation where this ticker would constantly find big support around the 180 simple moving average and then keep ripping off of that support. ISPC, same situation, finding big support on the 180 simple moving average and have those big spikes. Unfortunately, with these two tickers, I missed it. And then to really add a little bit of salt to the wound, I wanted to do that same thesis with KTTA. Unfortunately, I was not patient enough, and I did not accumulate here where I should have. I was kind of front running this one a little bit. Luckily, I did kind of size into it a little bit more here, but I didn't size in as much as I should have. Ideally, I should have done a full size around $10, maybe even $15,000 into this one, looking for that pop tomorrow. And eventually, we did get that move. It was about 100% off the lows, which was really nice. But since this was on TOS, I couldn't start trading till 7 a.m. So I was like, oh man, like I really want to be taking profits in these zones. And then boom, 7 o'clock, this thing just falls 12%. And I'm like, oh. Anyway, long story short, I basically got out for break even, which was annoying because that's a lot of risk for getting out for break even. And I never really wanted to get back in on this ticker because you can notice the volume was very low here. We had a lot of other good tickers being traded today. So that's really where most of my attention was, on these other tickers that were being traded. And I was like, all right, let me focus on those. Let me focus on front side. I don't want to focus on this backside stuff. So in this bounce off the 180-day simple moving average, I took my profits as we were approaching that 9 EMA big resistance zone, which in the end ended up being a really, really good idea. You could see I even bought a little bit more size down here to take profits on that bounce. So this worked out extremely well while there was still momentum. And then when this thing started fading here, I really kind of stopped having interest in this one. It did have one more retest here near that former support. So big support here at $6, had that one retest that I was talking about that we might see, worst case scenario. And then it ended up flushing here 40% in one candle. This was a disaster of a move. And this is why I was kind of nervous. And I was talking about a little bit earlier on with these biotechs. You want to be extra careful with them. Anyway, they did a secondary offering, 8.68 million share private placement at $3.50 a share. That is nasty. That is like they just cut their evaluation in half for what the stock price was currently trading at, and they only have 13 million shares. So this is just insane amount of dilution that they just threw into the market. I mean, it feels almost criminal what happened here. Luckily, I was not in this one, and anyone in the Discord, in the Trade Journal Discord, I don't think was in this one. But I really, my heart goes out, honestly, to anyone that got caught in that flush. You want to be careful with these kind of tickers, and yeah, there's not a lot more to say. I've been caught in my own flushes, and they're pretty devastating. It actually did end up bouncing here 30%, which I thought was quite impressive. I thought we were going to get a pretty quick move to 3.5, but yeah, we didn't have that, second red candle. For me, KTTA was totally off the table after that. And when I saw KTTA flush, I instantly felt like I was done trading for the day. And that's true. I stopped trading around 8.50 today. And I wanted to kind of maybe keep on trading a little bit if we saw some good action. But after this flush, I was like, every day trader right now saw KTTA, every small cap day trader, and they're thinking, man, like, what about these other tickers we're trading? Are they going to have a flush like this? Are they going to have a secondary offering? The holidays are coming up. Maybe I should just lock in some profits. And like, I just felt like today was not the day after the market opened to gun it. But I did feel like it was the day to gun it pre-market, because pre-market we had some good action. I knew, it was that last trading day of the week, more or less. This is really where you want to be capitalizing on. And that's what I did. So let's go here and talk about these other tickers we were trading. Oh yeah, and this profit here, so the $1,600 profit, it's pretty much, I did make like 2% off of this one. It was a very small win. It was more or less a scratch. But that profit is basically regaining the losses we had on it. So I was down about like $1,500 or so. Yeah, just so you know. So it's really no major profits here. So with OCUP, this ticker, man, this one really got me. Let's go to it. OCUP. I'm a little disappointed how I traded this ticker. On the daily chart, you can see it's on the backside, bigger resistance around $5, but we had room to run till 6, and then after that, probably till 7 or so. And that's what I was looking at pre-market. And at first, I did really well on this ticker. Let's zoom in here. So it has this crazy little front side move here, 70%, sells off, and then starts popping higher. This is when I started trading it. I bought this pullback here, sold into a slow rip, bought this pullback, sold into this rip, and I was up like $600 in that. And I was like, all right, doing really well. And then, it pops up here, and I'm like, this is kind of high on a range. I don't really want to trade it. Volume's not really increasing. It ends up breaking out. I find more resistance here at 628 because here's a lot of the former resistance. And guess what? It breaks that area as well. Eventually, I start FOMOing into this one. This was a clear FOMO move, but it finally had good volume. And I started buying onto this pullback, looking for continuation, looking for that move to 7. And this is where I get slammed. This was brutal. I get stuck in this full flush right here. I even buy a little bit more into the flush, and eventually I close for like a full loss right in this area, right before a big spike back to the upside, and where I could have closed for break even or even actually a decent profit. And in this move, I lost, I don't know, it was bad. I went from up like $600-700 to down about $1,000. So it was somewhere between a $1,500 and a $1,700 loss. Like, that sucked. and I was like, wow, that was the sloppiest trading ever. Like this was pure FOMO and emotions trading, and I was a little bit disappointed myself. I was not focused on the 5-minute, and I was just chasing. Eventually, I do chase a little bit more in here, but I actually ended up making back some of my losses, which was okay. But yeah, after that, OCUP kind of kept selling off, and I don't know. I was a little bit annoyed how I ended up trading OCUP. I could have done much better. Actually, it looks like it found a big support here at 4.6, and now it's looking like it might reverse. These have been really the patterns. You just want to find that good support, and then you want to just freaking edge into that and then wait for those pops. And look at this pre-market. I was actually saying in the Discord, this is what I want to be doing around 10 o'clock, just be finding support and just waiting for reversals. Yeah, that's a nice little pop there. So congrats to anyone that, did exactly what, I should have been doing. Yeah, I don't know how I want to go about OCUP. I really do like this support zone, but I think I'm done trading for the week. I think I need a little bit of time off. I'm going to enjoy these kind of 4 days and just kind of clear my head a little bit, because my trading has been okay, but it's been more sloppy than anything. I feel like I'm not that crisp, clean, consistent trader that I was maybe 3 months ago. And probably the traveling has a lot to do with it, but I can't be using that as an excuse always. I got to be a little bit more on my game. So let's talk about BFRI, the last ticker that I traded, or the one I'm up on the most. I'm up 12.45 on this one, so that's pretty nice. And this was really the big winner of the day. And I didn't even trade it where it was rigging some really nice moves later on, because I just felt like it was so extended at this point, and it had such a nice pre-market run that I felt like trying to trade here at the market open was just like, for me, like sure sign that I was probably gonna get caught in a flush or something. So let's see how this ticker behaved on the daily. It was an all-time high setup. So when we broke $5, it was blue skies from there. So it was no big resistance. And this might be a great continuation, but it looks like another pharmaceutical company. So be careful with that. Market cap 61 million, shares outstanding 11.6. Top pre-market gapper, looks like it has a price target of 20. You guys know I like price target news is some of my least favorite news, so I don't really care so much about that. But if you are trading price target news, you really want to be looking at why did they have a price target increase? Is it an FDA approval or something like that? That's what makes it a lot better and hopefully more consistent. But even if they have an FDA approval and everything looks really good, it's sometimes really hard for biotechs to have good multi-day continuation, especially small biotechs, because these are companies that are just always bleeding cash and they just need to raise capital. And the best way to do that is do offerings. I feel like biotechs do offerings much more than any other industry. I don't really have statistics to back it up, but with my years of day trading, biotechs I just find the most tricky, and yeah, that's why I typically don't hold those overnight. And you can see with KTTA, that was the riskiest one to hold overnight. That was the one with the worst recovery in second day gapper, and then it ended up doing an offering. So yeah, very nasty. So this is the 5-minute chart on BFRI, and this was actually the nicest way to look at BFRI, the 5-minute. You can see how clean it has these breakouts and these pullbacks back to the 9 EMA, breakout again, pull back to the 9 EMA, breakout again, pull back to the 9 EMA, breakout again, pull back to the 9 EMA. So what I really should have done today was really wait for these consolidation zones, and as long as we didn't break it and start selling off, there was no need for me to really cut any trade. And I didn't get one of these good breakouts. That's a 30% move. Here's even a bigger 40% move. Here's another one. This was a 30% move. This was here a 15% move. And then here are one of our last ones, 23% move. And even this one where it broke the front side, you could have still got out with a scratch before it finally entered that backside that it's on right now. So you could see I did really bad trading on BFRI for what I could have done. At one point, I really noticed how bad my trading was on this ticker, and I made my main screen a 5-minute and my secondary screen a 1-minute, just to like make myself calm down a little bit, because I was acting so sporadic the way this ticker is trading. Let me just go back and revert to the original BFRI. So yeah, with this ticker, let's just zoom in a little bit and so you guys can see my trades on it if you're curious. You can see here I was chasing almost every move. I was chasing into the high of these 5 minutes, so the 5-minute chart is down here, but I was chasing into the highs looking for that instant continuation, even though sometimes you need a little bit of pullback. And then again, we started breaking higher, new 5-minute high right here, and I should have just been, accumulating, waiting for that continuation. But I'm just, chop central. I look at this. I buy this pullback and I close right away, right before the pop again. But if I was just looking on the 5-minute, I would have noticed this is a big 5-minute breakout. We're having a 1-minute pullback. This is the time for me to be holding. For some reason, I'm totally, sloppy Sally and not doing any of that. Right around 8:25, we get a nice pullback here. Guess what? I'm not in any of this. I finally buy this breakout here, but I'm taking profits way too fast. I'm acting scalpy. It's just a little bit disappointing. Yeah, and then after 9 o'clock, like I said, I didn't really have interest to keep trading. You can see I just dropped my size entirely, and that's really because of the big drop from KTTA. When that KTTA flush happened, it took a little bit of the energy out of me, because I was like, I feel a little bit deflated looking at KTTA, and I know other traders are going to be feeling deflated. So I feel like if, let's say, BFRI starts breaking to new highs, a lot of people are going to be thinking about KTTA flushing, and they're going to be thinking, man, I wonder if BFRI is going to flush like that. And the last thing I want to be on is in a 40% flush. So maybe that's a big part of why BFRI wasn't able to break out here. I mean, a lot of small caps are all sympathy plays. They all kind of run in tandem together. So if one of the lead gappers, or at least one of the lead gappers from yesterday, just gets absolutely crushed, that's definitely going to have ripple effects. And that's a big reason why I stopped trading today a little bit early. I did already want to stop trading today a little bit early. That was always kind of like my game plan. But that was like, boom, that put the nail in the coffin for sure. All right, guys, that's everything for this recap video. I hope you guys have an amazing Thanksgiving weekend. I'll be keeping an eye out for some of these swings. I know XL I would love to get back into. Remember, the first place I always post is in the Discord when I do enter a swing trade, and I'll always be mentioning them later in the YouTube channel. So if you're totally new, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you guys then again next thing, maybe Friday, but most likely Monday morning for the next day trading recap. Don't forget to drop a like on the way out, and like always, stay safe and make some awesome trades. Ciao, ciao.